This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Michael Conlan over Zoom. Michael, firstly, how are you? How is life treating you at the minute?
All good, mate. All good. Just back from holidays, so recovering and enjoying myself.
Yeah, we've obviously just had a brief chat there off camera, so I think we'll leave the holiday stories for away for this interview. Don't want to get you in any trouble, but yeah, it's the first time we've spoken since your most recent outing, an unsuccessful night at the office with the Luis Alberto Lopez fight. Mick, just straight into it. Just your reflections now, please.
I didn't perform. That's all it was, Andy. I can't blame anything. I don't blame the preparation because preparation was fantastic. It was a great shape. I was feeling really confident, really focused getting into it. Um, the training was great. Sparring was great. I can't blame any of that. I can't blame the weight. The weight I done the weight easy. And just on the night, I just didn't turn up. Had a bad night at the office. Had an off night, so to say, and paid the price. And you can't kind of have an off night against someone like Luis Lopez or Luis Alberto Lopez, because you will pay the price, and that's what happened.
What was the approach that you wanted to take, Mick, in comparison to the one that you did take on the night?
I think everybody knows the approach I was going to take was just use my boxing ability and use my skills. Um, but if you look from the first 10 seconds, I just try to go straight to him and start punching instead of using the ring. We had a fucking 24-foot ring or something as well, and it was pointless because I didn't use any of it. But yeah, it was just made just an off night. I can't really. There's nothing I can put down to you, or like you can't say like no, I've lost it or anything like that. It's not like that. It was just a bad night, and didn't follow tactics, didn't follow game plan. Something felt off when I was warming up and stuff. I just didn't feel like it was switched on, or didn't feel like it was there. And then I just had like just a bad feeling before the fight.
It's obviously like I'm not a boxer, so I can't talk from any experience, but I've spoken to a few people about it since asked their thoughts as to why things might go different for a fighter on a night in comparison to when they've been preparing for a fight. Um, your big homecoming in Belfast, chance to become world champion. Did you think that the crowd, the audience, the night itself, did that play on your mind at all?
It didn't. No, you know what? It didn't. Listen, as I've said many times and many times before, I've fought in the biggest arenas around the world with the maddest atmospheres in the world. Atmospheres as world champions only get the experience. So, I'm kind of used to it. Although it was probably different. Probably that I seemed, when I look back on things, I put an awful lot of pressure on myself by saying like this is my last chance stuff, which it wasn't. And as I'm going to prove now, it wasn't my last chance. I'll go and do it again. I'll go and win one. Because I do still believe I can. But after something like that, your confidence does take a knock. No doubt about it. They'll have to do a bit of rebuilding on that, and refocus how my approach to the world title will be now.
Just on Luis Alberto Lopez himself, we know how awkward he can be, the angles that he throws his punches from. What was that like for you? From what you can remember, that specific type of style you had to come up against.
He was awkward, all right. I was like, I didn't think he'd be able to land his left hook to the body against Southpaw, and he landed it right away. And I was like, "Oh, good shot, you bastard!" It was a good shot. I felt it. And I was like, "That's good. It's a good punch. Gotta be smart here." But I didn't be smart. That's the thing. I just went, "Fuck it, let's go. I don't mind taking. I'll take one to give one kind of thing." And it was the wrong approach. So as I said, you pay the price.
Does it frustrate you anymore, Mick, knowing that going into this fight, people thought they'd obviously see more of that approach you took with Leigh Wood, where you boxed a lot more, you engaged when you had to, you traded when you had to, but certainly you were the better of the two of you and Leigh when you were boxing.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, you be looking back. I'll look back and I'll go, "Why the fuck did I do that?" And I can't put my finger on why, but I just had that bad. I just felt a bad kind of vibe or feeling around me, and I just didn't. I didn't feel like it was going to be my night before the fight, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on here?" I had doubts, and I was going, "It's not like me. I never felt like that in my life." You know what I mean? So it was like, it was a weird one. But so I'll probably look back and go, "Why?" but I'll get to the bottom of it. With my team, we'll have a debrief, go over reasons why and thoughts why we done this, we done that, or why things were different than what I planned to do. So, yeah, I'll have a proper debrief with the close people around me and my team, and we'll go forward from there.
One thing that I think a lot of people took some form of like warmth from was seeing Jamie obviously console you after the fight. We saw a clip come out of you two in the ring and you saying how devastated you were. We saw him there obviously catch you after the Leigh Wood knockout too. What's it like having that relationship with Jamie, having him there through thick and thin and really trying to stand by your side in those dark moments?
Because he's my brother. And out of all the brothers, I say we have the closest relationship because everything crosses. We've been involved in boxing together the whole time and stuff. And he's always been my idol. He's always someone I've looked up to, and he's someone I'd probably die for. And I know he would die for me. So, we have a proper, brotherhood where all four brothers, we're all that kind of close. But more so me and him in a sense that through the boxing stuff, he's just always looking out for me. I'm his little brother, and he would do anything for me, and I would do anything for him. So, it's great, and it's probably nice nice for people to see it, and stuff online. But at the same time, I'm looking like, oh, for fuck's sake, why did I say it? Why did they catch me on the mic?
Mick, you mentioned obviously you've looked at the future. You've got it in you to challenge for another world title. On the back of that fight, the question started to get asked: will we see you return? Will you decide to step away from the sport? Did it ever cross your mind?
It did. I'll be honest. The immediate aftermath was then, fuck this, I'm done. Boxing is a dangerous sport as it is. You know what I mean? And you see what happened even on the night in my car with Dumo Lamari, which was very unfortunate and devastating. And that none of that played on my mind before or anything. I'm not going to say I did, but you just see the damages what boxing can do. So I don't want to be in the game for much longer. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to do this for another 5 years. 2 years maybe max. I want to go in, win a world title, and get the fuck out. So yeah, listen. When that happened, I was just like, nah, fuck it, I'm done. I've done good in boxing. I've earned great money in boxing. I have plenty of things to say to the ring which I could do. So I could, if I really wanted to, I could step back. It wouldn't be hard. But when I sit down and this dust settled, I was like, nah, I can't go out like that. I can't leave it like that. I still got the ability to win a world title. I don't think that's changed. Because as I said, I put this down to an off night, and that, as simple as that, it was just an off night. And I've got to go again. So I believe I'll be world champion, and that's always my goal. And I'll keep going to get there, and then I'll get there in the next time. I hope.
We obviously want to talk about future. Just a final thing to touch on from the Lopez fight. Have you watched it back, or has it been just a bit too raw for you at the minute to look back on it?
Nah, I haven't watched it back. I was told some fucking fight and all that lasted. I was told I was there, but I was told like you won the first two, lost the next two, and then obviously the stoppage came in the fifth. But like I was just like I wasn't there, so there's no point. It's not a performance I'll look back on and take anything from. I'll learn from it, but in terms of I learned from it, not from what happened in the ring, but from what happened throughout the mindset stuff and how I approached it and how it was on the night. That's what I'll take from when I'm learning from that one. But nothing what happened in the ring because, as I says, that wasn't me. It was just I didn't turn up. That's simple as that.
Mick, we know how loyal and supportive the Irish fans are. I'm imagine that will definitely not change for you moving forwards, and they'll follow you whether it be back in New York, whether it be home in Ireland, whether it be over here in England, wherever it may be, they'll be there. That's obviously a big selling point for you. So, where do you think currently standing? You trying to go to top rank? Listen, just put me in another position for a world title fight. I will make the most of it next time around.
I'm unsure what way the ground lies at the minute. So I think I'll most likely I'll probably fight again December, November, December time. So I have a bit of time to think now and plot the next route to where I want to get to. Um, I don't know what directions I'll go in. I'm unsure of the next steps, but as I says, I have time, and we'll sit down as a team and we'll plot out the next move, precisely on what we want to go. And I believe how things have went so far has been fantastic, and the money I've been able to earn from boxing has been fantastic. But the next moves are very key, and determine whether or not you get to the pinnacle. The next fight needs to be right. Everything needs to be right. I can't just be stupidly push myself in the position where probably got to rebuild a wee bit, because who's really gonna just go, okay, give him a shot? You have to kind of learn a little bit, so I have to probably do a little bit of rebuilding. 1, 2, maybe 3 fights, and then go in again.
I saw Robeisy Ramirez on the week before you fought, because I was out there for hanging Lomachenko, and I asked him, would you entertain a fight with the winner of you versus Lopez? At the time, he never kind of said, yeah, jump at it. He was thinking maybe something for next year. Even though you weren't successful, but he's obviously the other titleist within the top rank stable. He could make sense for you to obviously try to push Top Rank and Bob Arum and say, listen, may have fallen short on the 2 occasions, but I would possibly be Robeisy's toughest test yet in his career. I know he's got a fight coming up in the near future, but looking towards next year, that's certainly still something which I imagine you could try and push on them.
Oh, definitely, 100%. And me and Robeisy have history. They beat me in the 2012 Olympics. And he ended up going to win. He beat me in the semi-final. He won them. So, and I picked up the bronze. But no, he's a fantastic fighter. I could see, if I'm honest, I could see him and Lopez having the unification towards the end of the year. That's what I could see happening, if I'm going to be honest, because obviously neither of them are going to be big ticket sellers. So they'll probably want to get one of them to have both belts, and then put them in a big fight with somebody else. So that's how I think it will kind of go.
Just to reflect on that same day, as we know that you fought there, Leigh Wood overcame Maurizio Lara. Did you watch that fight back at any point?
No, I must have just seen the result and heard about the result, and how actually comfortable and easy it was for Leigh in a sense. And I was well off the mark on that one. I thought it was going to be quicker by Lara, and I put my hands up and say, I was wrong, and fair play to Leigh, because he went and done the job. But it looks like, I'm not taking away from Leigh or his performance, because obviously it's fantastic, and he went and fucking overcame some demons there. But Lara seems like he went and done Roberto Duran type style after when he beat Leonard, out in the drink, out in the piss, never bothered making the weight, and then came back in, didn't really even try in the fight, and lost, and was happy to lose, So, but at the same time, no matter what, you got to give him credit, and this team credit, because they stuck to their game plan, and they got the job done, and big respect.
We saw the Otabek Kholmatov fight ordered a couple of days after that. It'd be another very, very difficult fight for Liam, one which, if he was to take, wouldn't be as lucrative, rewarding as the one which would be with Josh Warrington.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on that entire scenario, potentially seeing Wood Kholmatov or Wood Warrington.
It's a horrible. He hasn't got it easy, has he? God love him, Kholmatov's. He's not a tough fight, and then that's 3 tough fights back, or 4 tough fights will be, because he had the 2 fights back to back. But even Warrington fight will be harder for him. Is a hard fight for him as well. But obviously not as hard as Kholmatov in terms of danger, in terms of punch power and stuff. But yeah, you couldn't say anything if he was able to get an easy one. You'd be happy for him. But he's obviously back in the firing line. The one him another big fight. If he could get a unification, him versus Lopez, see how that plays it. You know what I mean? But yeah, bit of a hard one for him. I think in the sense it's not unfair. Like that Warrington fight is a big money fight for him. You know what I mean? That's that kind of money where you go, that fuck you take money where you just I'm gone. See you later. Hasta luego, amigo, and gone into the sunset. So yeah, unfortunate, but if he could step aside, maybe I'm sure Hearn would be happy to put the step aside money up. But the only thing is, it probably puts the Nottingham Forest ground fight out of the question.
But as in, you think that the money which would have to pay to step aside would?
No. I mean, in terms of like date and stuff, he's not going to get that. He's not going to get that till next summer, really, is he?
Well, I think the original hope was that I think they said end of September there's an international break for the football, so that's when they'd have looked to target.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. If he got that, that would be nice, and they could fight Warrington there. Yeah, listen, that would still be possible. I think Hearn would happily pay some steps in money for that, and I think it could be done as long as Kholmatov is promised the fight next.
I mean, with one of those solutions that's been spoken, Leigh and Kholmatov to face Ray Ford, and then on the back of that, Leigh will face Josh Warrington at the City Ground. Um, all ifs and buts, but what would you make of that scenario if Leigh was to vacate and then we saw Kholmatov, Ford, and Wood Warrington?
Don't like it. Don't like it. I think it takes away from the fight with Warrington. You know what I mean, I think the belt is probably needed for Leigh. Leigh shouldn't have to vacate. Like he shouldn't. But I suppose if he's going to think about the money, he probably will. But he's done it the hard way, in fairness to him, and he deserves to keep his belt. Kholmatov though is another danger fight, man, and whether he can walk away with the belt on that one, I don't know.
Another fight which was announced today, I just want to get your thoughts on is Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards, a fantastic
Yeah,
fight going to happen later this year. Just your thoughts, please, Mick.
it's a fantastic fight. I find it hard to pick against Sonny against anybody. You can't hit the kid with a handful of rice. You know what I mean? He's everywhere and anywhere. You can't touch him, and very very good fighter. Bam, I've been a big fan of Bam since I first seen him a few years ago. Great fighter, but I just think a very no unbelievable fighter really. But I just think Sonny's movement for anybody in that division is all wrong, all wrong. There's nobody seems to be able to kind of pin him down. But if anybody could, it would be Bam because he is the best other than Sonny.
Another fight to look forward to coming towards the end of July, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Mick again, one which is a 50-50, but which side do you slightly lean towards or maybe
I'm on Bud's side. I'm on Bud. I believe he just has more dog in him. You know what I mean? I think when it comes down to it, he will want it more. He has that more roughness, that readiness and toughness in him. Where you know, look what he's done and all his whole career. You just see him and he's an animal man. But I'm not taking away from Spence because Spence is also an animal. But I just believe that Crawford has the edge for me, and it is his adaptability, his being able to switch stances and everything, and being as equally adept in both stances is a big help too. So it's always going to be an interesting fight, but one I'd be very excited to watch.
Mick, the week before you fought, we saw Taylor versus Cameron, back in Dublin. Not the result that the Irish people and Irish fans would have wanted. It seems like we will get the rematch now. A lot of talk of it taking place back over there. Do you think Chantel will be or can be more successful in the rematch?
I've seen Chantel since she fight her lightweight and stuff, and that would be interesting. I think it would make it much more interesting. I always thought Chantel's probably a bit too big. And Katie was, Katie's pushing, her limits every single time she steps in that ring. Like, you know what I mean? and she's unbelievable. You just have the ultimate respect for that woman. But I think Chantel might just be too big, She might just be too big. Still, even at lightweight, I think she could be still too big. But I definitely give Katie, after that one, give Katie more of a chance, definitely at lightweight.
And Mick, just a final thing, something which I'm sure you had caught your eye earlier. The IOC have announced that they've derecognised AIBA as a governing body ahead of the 2024 Olympics. Somebody who was embroiled in controversy during your own amateur career. What did you make of that news?
You're welcome. You're welcome. What I'll say is because I'll say from me doing what I done, obviously, all this has spawned. Every single thing that's happened now kind of spawned from my outburst in 2016. Now, am I happy about it? No. Simply because I believe, the Olympics is the reason amateur boxing is what it is, and the reason we have so many, great fighters now in the professionals is because they're amateurs and they stay amateur, long enough to develop and be that good because they want to go to the Olympics and become them stars before they're even before they become like a celebrity and like a star before you're even professional. On sports funding and stuff, and you're getting celebrated how you get celebrated. It's unbelievable. Olympic boxing is always has been there from the first Olympics and should stay there forever. The fact that it's getting kicked out now because there's so much corruption going on in the organizations which are involved in the amateur boxing system is terrible. And devastating for all the fighters. I'm gutted. I wouldn't stay amateur for as long as I did if there was no Olympic Games. The only reason I stayed for till the 2016 Olympics because after one bronze in 2012, I wanted to win gold in 2016, and that was the only reason I stayed. So that was the reason which kept me in the game, and I think it's terrible to see how it's going, and it looks like boxing will be kicked out, or else they'll be under the kind of IOC flag, which could be good if this other organization who are running the kind of boxing now are trying to kind of start up their own organization of boxing. I think they have like the USA and UK and stuff all involved. Hopefully they can get into the games and have like the other countries follow them.
How difficult of a process can that be to try and set something like that up? Obviously, there's a lot of talks going on in the background at the minute as to how amateur boxing will lie. It seems to be that it will go ahead in 2024, and then from what I've read, 2028 will go ahead, but under a different governance. But it's again, there's not this long-term security which has been spoken about from the sport.
Yeah, I think it'll take a few years. It can't happen overnight. It does take a bit of time to get it properly and to make sure there's no more corrupt heads involved, because in every sport there's corruption. Every single sport there is corruption, and amateur boxing, has always been corrupt from the start, and it has just got worse and more blatant over the years. And then they'll go away, and then they'll come back again. It's like they'll calm down for a little bit and go again. So it's about getting the right people in who are probably, you try to get uncorruptible people, but when people see a pound note, they're corruptible, aren't they? Really, most people anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long it will take. I hope it's sooner rather than later. Because as I said, boxing was in the first Olympic Games. It should be in every Olympic Games.
All right, Mick, we will leave it there now. Leave it to us. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's a pleasure to catch up with you. Good to see you in good spirits as well. And I hope that IB for hangover isn't treating you too badly. But it's good to see you. So thank you.
Good man, all the best.